The former Pope, Benedict XVI, has died in the Vatican almost a decade after he stood down due to ill health. He was 95. Born Joseph Ratzinger in Germany, Benedict led the Roman Catholic Church for nearly 8 years before becoming the first pope in 6 centuries to resign.
The Serbian tennis star Novak Djokovic has played his first match in Australia since he was deported last year for failing to meet COVID vaccination requirements. The immigration minister overturned a lengthier ban.
Beijing says COVID testing and other entry restrictions imposed on Chinese travellers are unreasonable and warned it might reciprocate. A number of countries have imposed such measures after a rise of infections in China. Moscow says the unauthorised use of mobile phones allowed Ukraine to pinpoint a military base in occupied Donbass and carry out a deadly strike on it. The Russians now say almost 90 soldiers were killed. They earlier gave a lower figure.
So here's a question for you. Are you an aisle person or a window person? You probably don't choose the middle seat. Nobody does, right? Well, there's this airline booking hack, a scenario that's going viral and popping up in all of our group chats today. It's when couples book the aisle and window seats in the same row, hoping that nobody has booked the middle seat. Best case scenario, nobody does book it. You end up with a little bit of extra space. Worst case scenario, somebody gets stuck between two people traveling together. And there's a third possibility. The couple could offer to switch seats with whoever's in the middle and sit next to each other, which is what one couple tried to do. It didn't work.
The Chinese financial services conglomerate Ant Group says its founder, Jack Ma, no longer controls the company. Mr. Ma is one of China's most prominent businessmen. He annoyed the authorities in 2020 when he criticised banks and regulators.
Paying more for a new iPhone battery. Apple just announced plans to charge another $20 for its out-of-warranty battery service for all iPhone models. So the $69 service will go to $89. The new higher prices start in March.
Bookshops in Britain have put Prince Harry's memoir on sale after days of leaks and interviews. Disclosures ranged from how the prince apparently lost his virginity to claims he was attacked by his brother, the heir to the throne, Prince William.
South Korea and Japan have criticised China's decision to stop issuing short-term visas for their citizens. Beijing's announcement came after Seoul and Tokyo required Chinese arrivals to show negative COVID tests.
A lawyer for the failed cryptocurrency firm FTX says his team has salvaged more than $5 billion in assets following the company's spectacular collapse in November. He's hoping to recoup a further $4 billion for investors.
The White House says 5 more classified documents have been discovered at the US president's family home. A special counsel has been appointed to investigate Joe Biden's mishandling of the classified documents, which number around 20.
The Australian Open has started in Melbourne. The top seed, Rafael Nadal, is opening his title defence against the British player Jack Draper and is hoping for a 23rd Grand Slam. The American 18-year-old Coco Gauff won her opening match.
China's population has registered a fall for the first time in more than 60 years, dropping by 850,000 people. It's now 1.4 billion. Much of the downturn is considered to be the result of China's now abandoned one-child policy.
Now to San Francisco, where jury selection is underway in a trial brought by Tesla shareholders. They're suing Elon Musk for fraud. Their argument, a tweet Mr. Musk sent in 2018, cost them billions of dollars after the stock price plummeted.
New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who's widely seen as a figurehead of progressive politics, has shocked the country by announcing she'll resign from office in less than 3 weeks' time. Ms Ardern told reporters that she no longer had the energy to continue in the role.
New Zealand's outgoing Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has handed over the leadership of the governing Labour Party to her successor, Chris Hipkins. The party's MPs have unanimously endorsed Mr Hipkins to become the next Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, has said the falling birth rate in his country has left it on the brink of not being able to function as a society. He's promised to spend more to encourage couples to have children.
Brazil and Argentina's leaders have announced plans to create a common currency that would be used to boost trade between South America's 2 biggest countries. The new currency could eventually be adopted by other South American countries.
The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is expected to announce that German-made battle tanks can be sent to Ukraine. Reports say Berlin will send 14 initially. Other European countries plan to send dozens more of the Leopard tanks to Kiev.
Meta has said it will reinstate the Facebook and Instagram accounts of the former US President Donald Trump. He was suspended 2 years ago over posts praising people who assaulted Congress. In his first reaction, Mr. Trump said such a ban should never again happen to a US president.
The former US President Donald Trump has begun his 2024 re-election campaign. Speaking in New Hampshire, Mr. Trump accused the Biden administration of running America into the ground. The Secretary-General of NATO is visiting South Korea and Japan in a bid to strengthen security ties. Jens Stoltenberg has referred to North Korea's missile and nuclear program, China's growing assertiveness, and the war in Ukraine as concerns.
시청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다.